Hello and welcome to BW London podcast. So now more than ever is a time to talk about the royals. As a British person, the atmosphere over here it's a little. I went to work today and one of the guys working with me said he's finding it really hard because this is on most topics. Political correctness has gone mad and it's like the minority rule, the minority opinions rule, and people are just uncomfortable to say so many things. Just off my head, I thought even in terms of genders, this whole argument, what is a woman, that keeps popping up. I see those videos on YouTube, what is a woman? And people actually argue back and forth about that as if it's not biological. It's crazy. And it is the minority ruling. I know people that are homosexual who feel that they would prefer not to be. I know 3 people like that are homosexual, they'll prefer not to be. But if they even express that, it's politically incorrect. But they're the ones who are homosexual. Why do they not get the right to say that? They feel it's things that happen in their childhood and so on. I've kind of gone off topic here, but there's just so much you cannot say. The minority are ruling. So here in Britain, lots of people have their feelings about the Queen. Lots of people are very much aware that she's affiliated with illuminated stuff. There's likely to be a lot of witchcraft and voodoo. Well, not likely, there is around their whole deal. But, nobody can say anything right now because everyone's very passionate and hyped up. But ultimately, though, because I am a Christian, I do believe in the Bible and what it says. And, it does say to pray for your people that are in charge. And royal families and monarchies has always kind of somewhat been it's always been a thing. So at the same time, I know nobody's destiny, what's going on in their life. I don't know if anybody within the royal family may have a different path. So ultimately, yes, I will pray for them and pray that their funeral goes well tomorrow. Don't know when I'll be posting this, but yeah, that the funeral goes well tomorrow. And for anybody who needs support and strength, may it be there. So my son gave me, because I don't keep up with the news too much, and they told me, oh look, people are queuing to say their goodbyes to the Queen. And I was like, I'm now seeing it all over TikTok, everyone with the same opinion I have. Do they really think the Queen's in there? Seriously? I said to my children, so if I died, would you leave me in a coffin for the whole world to just come in and out in the hundreds of thousands? Yeah, that's not happening. Her body would be rotting and smelling disgusting by then, unless they've got some kind of cooler in there. But ultimately, there's probably a goat's head in there, all kind of witchcraft and voodoo stuff within there, because they're going to be feeding off so much energy of the people coming in, crying and so on. It's going to be, I know 100% that's going to be sacrificial. And everybody's energy as they queue up in the droves like that is gonna have some kind of sacrificial, ritualistic energy about it. Satan ain't gonna play around with that. That's 100%. So yeah, you'll never catch me anywhere near that or anywhere near it, because who's to know what you'll be taking back home with you. As Charles comes into power, I'm pretty certain he will either be, well, he's definitely going to be bringing in the New World Order. But after the Oprah interview with Meghan, I was like, oh, they're trying to get rid of the monarchy. They're obviously going to use her as a way to kind of bring it down. Whether that's going to happen in Charles' reign, I don't know. But I definitely know we're starting the atmosphere, of like the hate towards the royals. As this day, nothing in England is opening before 5 p.m. tomorrow, and food banks won't be opening. So you've got lots of people very passionate and very angry. Why is the Queen so important? She already steals from us and blah. So, they're creating that atmosphere around the royals. And to me, that's all part of overthrowing it. When it's going to happen, I don't know. I do know that Charles, because they're the Church of England, I know that we're not going to be... he's going to be more promoting the one world government, which is all religions. And eventually, at some point, if you pick a specific religion, more than anything, it'll be Christianity or just Jesus believing. But biblical, that's the one that's going to be, discriminated against most, because everybody's angry at Jesus because it's the real deal. So at some point he's definitely gonna introduce that, this whole I'm about all religions and it's all the same, and we all believe in one God and all the stuff. It's not the same. It's very different. It's actually very different, but I'm not going to get into that. But I do believe that he is going to be part of introducing that new one world order and what we're going towards right now. And I've mentioned it in other videos what I see that vision to be, and it is biblical based prophecy. But in regards to this whole Meghan finale, I mean, it's been really interesting. Again, on TikTok, there were so many criticisms based on, oh, how loving her and Harry looked, and William and Kate, they looked so apart, and they started to bring up his affair of the past. But that's not what I saw, because I've done other videos on Meghan. I think she's a complete narcissist, and what I saw was codependency between them two. That's all I saw. As far as Kate and William, they just look like seasoned royals to me. They walk down independently and so on, and it's a better vibe in my opinion. Them two they're really weird, and I'm not going to go off into all of them, because you have to remember that all of this is a theatre production. Everything that we see ultimately is a theatre production, but there is some truth in their off-key behaviours. These two they're very clueless. They're not self-aware. They have told lies, and Meghan is a narcissist. And I know I've done a video about the ritual I believe that she's done in the hopes of becoming some kind of political person in America. And, she's got her plans, but she can have all the plans she wants. It really depends what plans they have for her. But, yeah, I do think she's got mental illness. There's no doubt about it. And like I've said in other videos, I was completely pro the idea of this black mixed race woman as part of the royals. It was interesting, and I thought she was normal, but she isn't. The woman isn't normal. And I do think she's a part of, ending the monarchy ultimately. She's definitely a part of getting that conversation going, because that's where we're heading. As for I saw that Oprah has tried to justify the interview. I do believe Oprah when she said, if anyone's seen that, it's not very long. It's with that lady. I'll put pictures because I'm not good with names. But the interview that she done with that lady, yeah, I do believe that Oprah had no idea it was going to be such a blast of an interview. I can't remember what word they used, but I do believe that, because Meghan's manipulative, and she would have just thought they were telling their story. But obviously Meghan, she went all in. She brought out her best acting, worst acting ever, but she brought out her best acting, and that's why Oprah didn't interrogate her and so forth. But Oprah's definitely been embarrassed by this interview, because I noticed when the body language guys were talking about it, they mentioned that the Oprah seemed sincere when she was talking about how she thought the interview went and why she did it. But what didn't, they were a bit, they recognized something off when she said, what did she say? She doesn't get involved with family feuds and things like that. But that's what she spent her whole life and her career doing, getting involved with family feuds. So, that's why she seemed insincere in that moment. I'm not sure why they didn't clock that, the body language panel, whatever they're called. But yeah, so that's what I've got to say on that. Meghan, as we can see, she looks quite uncomfortable right now. I'm sure she's probably doing up clothes, still emulating Diana. But through Meghan, and I've said this in another video, through Meghan, I realised that Diana was likely narcissistic herself. Because whereas she was this princess that we all loved in England and everyone thought, oh, this amazing woman, actually, she was, she moves like a feminist, you know what I mean? She moves just like Meghan, didn't really support her husband and ultimately was trying to be her own woman. I see mad similarities. But when it comes down to it, this is all a distraction. The timing of it, as you know, other people who dive in the numbers of deaths, and it's 25 years since Diana died and all of that, they put it all together. I don't deal in numbers, but, there's a lot to be said about the numbers. And this is a distraction, because it ultimately, this new world order that's coming in, it's coming in strong and it's coming in fast. But there's always a long path of getting people on board, just like they're getting people on board with the new metaverse. And, there's always this long path before we actually, next thing you know, we're here. We're just here. We're all living in these little cities, and they're using global warming to control us. And we're heading somewhere where prophecy says we're heading, the Babylon system, which never ended and still continues to reign, it's happening. It's truly happening. That's why so many black people, why can't we get it together? Why can't we're not meant to get it together? It says the Babylon system is going to rule, and lots of people think that this is because they talk about the Queen being reptilians and all of this stuff, but all of that falls under space and all the stuff that just ain't real. Dinosaurs, it all falls under that to take you away from true faith. They're not reptilians. People that have done rituals around them, like, the woman who's screaming outside Buckingham Palace saying, I saw her face turn into a reptile, and what you saw was a demon. And Satan will show them different faces and encourage them to believe in this reptilian nonsense, because any false things like that just keeps you away from the truth. They're mixed up in some real evil stuff, and you are going to definitely see certain things manifest and so on. But if it doesn't make sense, it's not real. Because even I made a video on MK mind control and so on. I started to believe that people were genuinely cloned, Eminem, a lot of it, but they can't be cloned, because that's like saying that we can reproduce. No, they can do mind control, they can do that, but as far as actually recreating a whole human being, again, this falls into dinosaurs and stuff. If it don't make biblical sense, it ain't happening. I can't say how many prophecies that have come true down to the T, like that. I'm not going to force my faith, because that's something that you feel within your heart and you learn about it in your own time if you are part of the righteous calling, but I'll leave that alone. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the royals. Like I said, despite everything I've said, I hope that tomorrow is a good send off for the Queen, especially for those who've it has some kind of meaning. For like my great grandmother who passed in 2010. Listen, when the Queen came on the screen, you'd thought that was her brethren who was coming round for tea. I'm not exaggerating. Oh, look, the Queen, like she went in, and all of that generation, it means something to them, So, and there are some people genuinely grieving, although the grief in itself is energy, it's an energy that I believe Satan takes power from, but ignorance is a real thing, So, yeah. Anyway, thank you for listening.